Samantha Harvey's Orbital isn't just a novel, it's a masterclass in human introspection disguised as a trip to space. A book that won the 2024 Booker Prize, and rightly so. It's like someone gave humanity a mirror, stuck it 250 miles above Earth, and said, "Take a long, hard look." And what do we find? Not a shining, noble image, but a mess of contradictions, brilliant, fragile, petty, and profound. Welcome to Harvey's Orbit, where the stars are just a backdrop to humanity's ongoing existential crisis. Let's start with the premise. 6 astronauts, 4 men and 2 women, from different countries, all trapped together on a space station hurtling around Earth at 17,500 miles per hour. That's the setup. What could possibly go wrong? Well, everything and nothing. They've got protein crystals to grow, typhoons to monitor, and experiments to run. But Harvey isn't interested in the science fiction of it all. This is literary fiction, and the real experiment here is the human heart, or more accurately, how much the human heart can take before it implodes. The crew is a motley bunch. There's Roman, the Russian commander, who is stoic and pragmatic but secretly poetic. There's Pietro, the Italian scientist, who spends his time philosophizing while monitoring microbes, because what better way to ponder life than staring at bacteria? Then there's Chai, the Japanese astronaut, quietly carrying the grief of her mother's death back on Earth, her sorrow orbiting the station as persistently as the spacecraft itself. Sean, the Brit, is the dreamer who wanted to be a fighter pilot, but somehow ended up floating in space. Nell, the American, is the glue that holds them together, or tries to, because let's face it, zero gravity doesn't make that job any easier. And Anton, another Russian, who's sentimental to the point of tears, but is also the guy you'd want fixing a malfunctioning oxygen generator at 3 a.m. What makes this novel so extraordinary is how Harvey uses the vastness of space to zoom in on the characters' inner worlds. They may be circling the Earth, but their thoughts are locked in tight orbits of their own: grief, longing, regret, hope. The space station becomes a metaphor for the human condition, fragile, self-contained, endlessly complex, and one bad decision away from catastrophe. And yet, there's beauty in the monotony. The way Harvey describes their lives, the hum of the spacecraft, the 16 sunrises and sunsets a day, the floating noodles in a galley lit by laptop screens, is so vivid you can almost feel the weightlessness yourself. Or maybe it's just the weight of existential dread. And let's talk about the writing. Samantha Harvey doesn't just describe things, she paints them with words and then sets them spinning. Her prose is rich and lyrical, but never pretentious. She's the kind of writer who can make a floating packet of chicken cassolette feel like a profound statement about the fragility of life. And when she describes the Earth from space, it's like she's daring you to not fall in love with this ridiculous, messy planet all over again. Even as she reminds you that we're basically just ants scrambling on a rock, doomed to destroy ourselves in a fit of teenage nihilism. But it's not all beauty and poetry. There's a dark humor running through this book, a kind of sardonic wit that sneaks up on you. Like the fact that these astronauts, these paragons of human achievement, spend most of their time fiddling with faulty toilets and worrying about their next batch of clean socks. Or the way they cling to mundane routines to keep from losing their minds, because, as Harvey points out, space shreds time into confetti. One minute, they're marveling at the auroras over Pater Go Near. The next, they're grumbling about stuck zippers and peeing in zero gravity. It's absurd, and it's human, and it's painfully funny. Of course, the novel isn't just about space. It's about Earth. The astronauts may be physically removed from the planet, but they're tethered to it in every way that matters. They gaze down at the blue marble with a mix of awe and despair, seeing it for what it is: a miracle, a madhouse, a mother, a lover. And through their eyes, Harvey asks the big questions. What does it mean to belong to this place? To call it home? To destroy it and mourn it all at once? This is where the novel hits hardest. The astronauts' view of Earth, a planet that seems to glow with its own light, delicate and doomed, is a reminder of everything we take for granted. The air we breathe, the ground we walk on, the people we love. From space, all the noise of life, the wars, the politics, the Kardashians, fades into the background. What's left is a planet spinning in a vast, indifferent universe, and a handful of humans clinging to it for dear life. But don't let all this profundity fool you. Orbital isn't a slog. It's a gripping, emotional roller coaster, with moments of joy, heartbreak, and even hope. Yes, hope, because for all its existential angst, the novel ultimately celebrates what it means to be human, to love, to grieve, to laugh at the absurdity of it all, and to keep going even when the odds are stacked against you. So, is Orbital worth your time? Absolutely. It's a novel that will make you think, feel, and maybe even look at the stars a little differently. Samantha Harvey has crafted a story that's as vast as the universe and as intimate as a whispered secret. It's a reminder that, for all our flaws, humanity is something worth orbiting. And maybe, just maybe, worth saving. Cheers!